Hey guys, Gary J here. Today we're looking at a 1873 lever action Winchester rifle movie prop. So the 1873 Winchester rifle is one of the most iconic rifles of yesteryear. It was said to have won the West, and so you'll see a lot of these types of rifles sometime. Now, a few videos back, I did a pretty thorough, I think, assessment of the 1873 Winchester rifle on a original 1873 Winchester rifle, which has an incredible history to it. If you want to see that, just go back a couple of videos. But this one is a movie prop, and we'll look at it a little bit closer so you can see why it is a movie prop and what gives that away. And we know that in the movies, it can be very dangerous if you use real rifles, pistols, and revolvers, that people can get killed very easily. So you don't want to go through that. So that's why you have props. You have guns that are specially made to look like the original, but they do not shoot cartridges, or they shoot a blank cartridge or a different type of cartridge that's not going to be deadly in any way. And on movies, they have the armor and others that are supposed to check these rifles, pistols, revolvers very carefully, make sure they're not loaded with any kind of live ammo. A lot of these are made so that they won't shoot live ammo. If you do shoot them, try to shoot one with live ammo, it would just blow the gun apart because they're not made for that high pressure and so forth. So they have a uniqueness about them. The reason I'm showing you this one is because to show you that they can look so very, very real, movie props. And sometimes in the movies they will use pistols and rifles and so forth that are the CO2 type. And I've had those, and they look about as real as you can get, kind of like this right here. And most time you see movie prop guns, you're going to see them in a little bit of a low light, kind of like this right here, maybe a little bit. And you won't be able to notice that it's a movie prop, that it's not real. And you can see that looking at this one, they go through great pains, it looks like, to produce a rifle that looks very real. And we know that there was an actor who accidentally killed someone and shot another one with a so-called movie prop gun, and I don't think there's quite enough information about that. But as to what happened with that, it appears to be a real weapon and not a movie prop, which is a horrible idea. And so, I mean, accidents can happen. Now, for that actor, I can tell you that nobody wants to shoot and kill someone making a movie. Nobody wants to do that. So, I mean, it's an accident. It's an accident of ignorance. It's an accident, perhaps, of carelessness. And that came back to bite them really hard. And there'll be a lot of litigation in that, because these things should not happen if you have the right armor and others who check these guns out. Ultimately, it is the actor's responsibility to look at the cartridges, make sure they're not real too. But that's kind of why we're here with a movie prop type of rifle. So these things do happen. Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, was killed with a pistol, and it was kind of a squib load where it didn't really have any powder in it, and the projectile got stuck in the barrel, and then it was shot with another one, cartridge, blank cartridge, and that shot the projectile out of the barrel, and that's what supposedly killed Brandon Lee. So they were using a prop type gun, but something went terribly wrong with that deal. So, I mean, things like that can happen, but it should not happen. And movie prop guns are not that expensive. They're not as expensive generally as a real gun or rifle or pistol. So, and they have places they can borrow, weapons too. But let's take a look at this one right here and see the beauty of it as a movie prop rifle. Okay, looking at this one here, we see we have on the faceplate here, we got beautiful engravings right here, which I really like these engravings here. And this is made out of a pot metal, we call this a cheap metal. And we've got right here a beautiful picture, if we can see that, of the hunter right here, and we got a beautiful elk right here, and we got the trees and so forth, and all of this ornate type of scroll work right here. And on the back side right here, we have another pretty picture right here of a hunter and his dog and his rifle, and I mean, who wouldn't want that on their rifle? And we've got a saddle ring here, and this is really a plastic type saddle ring, and this is right here feels like plastic too. And the hammer right here is ornate right here, you can tell. And the hammer here is made of feels cold, maybe a pot metal. It's very cheaply made, I can tell you that. And the trigger here is made out of a very cheap metal, and the lever action here is made out of a very cheap metal too. And this right here feels like plastic. So I know this is plastic right here. This is plastic right here. And maybe a cheap metal on that. And then this side plate right here, we put the cartridges in, is made out of plastic. And on the 1873, we have a dust plate. This is called the dust plate. On the video that I have on the 1873 original rifle, I cover that pretty thorough, I think. A lot of great, wonderful things to know about the 1873. And it's a popular, iconic gun to have in the movies of the old Westerns. And when you think of 1873, you'll see reproductions of the Winchester that came before this, the 1866. And before the Winchester, you had the yellow boy called the Henry rifle, which had a brass facing like this too. And that was created, I think, by John Browning. And Winchester bought the rights to the Winchester lever action from him, and then they created the 1866 and the 1873, which was a beefed up type of Winchester that would hold heavier, longer, bigger cartridges. So, and everything looks pretty authentic on this right here. And this is the boat right here. You can see the boat pulls back right here. Get that in line. Pulls boat, and this right here pushes the cartridge up to the barrel itself. And another thing too, on your hammer right here, that bolt that goes across here pushes back. When you pull the lever down, it pushes the hammer back and cocks the hammer. See that? And throws the cartridge up here. And then all you do is pull the trigger on this. And so that looks kind of real. I like the sights here better than on the Winchester 1873 that I showed you in my other video, the original 1873. This is kind of a ladder type sight right here. And you can throw it up like this. And right here, you got this copper piece right here, which is your sight. And you can move it up for your yardage up and down. So that's a nice feature there. And then the octagon barrel right here. The front sight looks pretty nice on that. End of the barrel generally has a red cap, but of course in the movies you don't want that. And the stock right here, forearm, is well made and fits perfectly on this right here. Pretty wood. And so there's a lot of work that goes into that stock and making a reproduction. And on the stock right here, you see it's very well made right here. The butt plate here is the same as the 1873 original that I did a video on. And it's just a wonderful, beautiful made reproduction of the 1873. Now the price of these can go from, depending on what you're getting, can go from $200 to $400 or $500, depending on the particular type of quality of reproduction you're getting, especially for the movie theater. For the movies in prop weaponry. So they're not that expensive generally. This one probably runs, years ago it was running about $250 for this one. And I got it from a gunsmith who owed me some money. And so it's just a pretty rifle to me. So, everything being plastic here, or I know that again was plastic, and this is a cheap metal right here, and the bolts are cheap metal, and the facing is cheap, and so they have a different feel. Anybody who knows anything about rifles knows that this is cheaply made, but looks pretty on the outside. And again, they use kind of like a little bit of dark lighting when you see reproduction so that you can't see any flaws in them. But they're well made. And this one will not take a cartridge. And some will, but it's a blank. Or you make sure. Now, if you try to shoot a real cartridge in something like this, it would blow this apart right here like a hand grenade probably, because it's not made to hold any pressure at all. It's kind of like a CO2 gun. Now, CO2 pistols, revolvers, whatever, that they have on those look about as real as you can get, too, for movie props. And the movie people use them for that, too. And there are others out there that they use. But really, it's a foolish thing to take a real rifle, shotgun, revolver, pistol, and use that in a way where it will actually hold a real round and shoot that real cartridge and not blow up. So these are things you look for in a movie prop. Now these, of course, are for us it's wall hangers, but it's a pretty rifle, and I wish I had a rifle like this, a real one. Now you can buy, reproduction rifles like this of anything from, black powder revolver, pistols, Civil War, Winchesters, shotguns, all of that. You can buy all of that will shoot real ammo, and they use them in cowboy reenactment movies and stuff like that. Not movies, but competitions. So they use them in all these different competitions. So you can buy them, and they run. The real ones run like $1,000 to $1,200, $1,300 for the real ones that actually do shoot. So you can get them. That's possible too. But nobody in the movie industry is going to pay, top dollar for something that's going to be used as a prop, because they can do their own sound effects and all that stuff. So just want to show you this movie prop type of rifle here, and why it's called a movie prop, because it's not supposed to shoot any kind of real projectile and kill anybody, or hurt anybody. And the actor who shoots a rifle or pistol is never supposed to aim directly at that individual they're shooting at. With the camera angles and so forth, it may look like they're doing it, but they should be aiming at away from them. So even if it were a real round, it would not hit them. So that's what's supposed to happen in those cases. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. Gary J.